Boom. Kamusta? Well, how many of you have ever heard of the six human needs? If you've heard of it, type me in the comments. Or how many of you have heard of Tony Robbins? Now, for those of you who don't know, Tony Robbins is a world leading coach slash consultant for businesses. And well, there's just so much value this guy can actually give. And one of the things that I learned from him that has been very helpful in my life is the six human needs. And I got this and I learned a lot from this mainly because of how I used it in my everyday life. Now, and well, for most people, they live life not knowing what needs are they under the influence of the most. And that in turn creates some sort of vacuum in their life where they are under the mercy of certain needs and they're not growing to their full potential. Now, and today I will be sharing these six human needs to all of you so that you will become more aware and then you can choose for yourself what needs are you going to focus on and what needs are you, well, what needs are you being influenced by without you knowing. So the first human need, let's go to the first human need. The first human need is uncertainty. I mean, it's certainty. Okay. According to Tony Robbins, the first human need is certainty. Certainty in a way that assurance you can avoid pain and gain pleasure. Now, what does this mean? Well, assurance you can avoid pain and gain pleasure. And it's not just it, it's not just that straightforward. Okay, so certainty or an assurance you can avoid pain and gain pleasure. How many of you have ever been afraid of uncertainty? Like, for example, when the whole pandemic started, and hello, Miss MJ, thank you for watching. Right. So, like for example, when the whole pandemic started, there was a huge um, and there was a huge air of uncertainty for a lot of people. A lot of people lost jobs. A lot of people downsized in their businesses, and then there was no guarantee of what the future is gonna be. Well, congratulations. You have survived over 2 years um, in this sort of situation, right? But how many of you got anxiety because of that? Now, how many of you have ever, for example, received a message that said, "Hey, we need to talk. Hey, we need to talk," and you don't know what you're supposed to be talking about. You don't even know the topic or the supposed topic that you're gonna talk about with this certain somebody. Okay, so there's a huge need for certainty for a lot of people, and a lot of people, for them, certainty also means job security. Sometimes they would rather choose to be in a job that they don't like because it's safer. Okay, it's safer because there's money coming in every single month. There's routine. You they can basically they can basically plan out what's coming ahead of time. That's certainty, right? So a lot of people have this need, and then they're afraid of uncertainty because what if I do this and I fail? That's the downside of certainty. Now, I don't know if you're influenced by this heavily or not, but one thing I am certain of is this: the only thing certain in life is uncertainty. Okay, not unless you plan things out. So the only thing certain in life is uncertainty, not unless you plan things out. And even then, there should always be room for flexibility. There should always be room for flexibility. Yeah, and from his status, stay in a job you don't like to satisfy the need for certainty. Yeah, exactly. Right? Now, here's my favorite. For some people, they love certainty, but for there are also people though who love uncertainty slash variety, the need for the unknown, change, new stimuli. Okay. Now, this I'm very guilty of this. I'm someone who is easily bored. Now, how many of you have ever been in a relationship before? Comment me down below. Okay. Yeah, Miss MJ, thank you for being honest. Right? So, how many of you have ever been in a relationship before? Comment me down below. Now, usually when relationships start, things are very sweet. Things are very um they even call this the honeymoon stage, right? In their life, because at this moment on, everything that each of you are doing is amazing. You're so mesmerized. You're barely even fighting. You're even considering the stuff that they do that would normally trigger you into something that's natural. This is something that I'm welcoming into my life. And then suddenly you realize one day, boom, you realize that, huh, I now know everything there is to know about this person. So what's next? Right? So now you're bored of the relationship. And in some way or form, some people, when they're bored in the relationship, they look for problems. Okay? Some people look for problems in small ways, right? Some people look problem for problems in major ways, like cheating, for example, because it's new, it's stimulating, it's unknown, right? For some people, they enter something we call an open relationship where they allow each other to explore things but still stay together, right? Just to say yes, or just to um what's the word I'm looking for? Just to appease the need for uncertainty. Now, what does this look like for your career as well? Well, for people who are doing their jobs, for people who hate routine, well, here's the thing. People who have a need for uncertainty are also people who deliberately look for problems. These are your friends who have stable jobs, but you always notice somehow they jump from one company to another, right? And of course, yeah, the people deliberately start a fight to satisfy the need for uncertainty. Yeah, definitely, right? And for some people, um they even go back into they even go back into, let's say, they've overcome um let's say financial or career hurdles. Okay, now they're up there, and now they feel safe. Some of them actually go back because uncertainty feels better. Uncertainty feels more familiar. Okay. Now for me, how does this manifest in my life? The need for uncertainty manifests in my life if everything is smooth sailing, if everything is very predictable. For me, that is very boring. Now, luckily for me, I channel that energy and that need for uncertainty into creating movements or businesses or traveling. Okay. But still, luckily for me, I was made aware that the need for uncertainty exists, because if I wasn't aware of this, I would have broken a lot of relationships, a lot of opportunities, because of the lack of discipline. Because I'm the type of guy who would actually choose to, what's what I'm looking for. I'm the type of guy who would actually choose to follow my desires than discipline myself, right? So that's certainty, that's uncertainty. So obviously, right, what which is better? Balance. You need to balance your needs. Okay, you need to balance your needs. Now the third, now this is very interesting, and a lot of people in the Philippines are driven by this. How many of you, okay, and it's the need for significance. It's the feeling to be unique, important, special, or needed. How many of you has ever um, felt at some point in your life where you wanted to prove something? Gusto mo may mapatunayan ka sa mga magulang mo, sa mga kaklase mo, sa mga kapatid mo. You have a need to prove yourself towards certain people. Okay? Or even better, you have a need to prove to yourself that you're relevant, that what you're doing in life has meaning. The need for significance. That's the need for significance. And it manifests in a lot of ways. This need manifests in a lot of ways. So for example, um, I would expect this to manifest in your life if um, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm expecting this to manifest in your life if I had a thought but it was lost, right? So let's skip that. However, for a lot of people, especially for people who feel like they're not seen by the people around them, for people who this is a need by people who feel like they're not seen. And how many of you have ever felt that? You know, you're in you're in a family gathering, everyone is smiling, everyone is eating around, but then you're just there and you don't and you feel as if no one notices you. Right? Comment me if you can relate. Or how many of you have ever went to a party expecting that the party was gonna be fun, only to find out that the world is moving forward without you. Now there are also people who in negative ways, right, because of the lack of significance, lack of acknowledgement from other people, they seek or they do outrageous things to get acknowledgement. For example, some people would deliberately ruin your day to feel significant. One of the best examples Tony Robbins says is that, okay, sige, if a stranger suddenly comes and walks in front of you and aims a gun at your face, from on a scale of 1 to 10, how significant are they in your life? They literally have your life on the tip of their finger. And that's power. People feel that. For some people, right, position of power. Um, they feel significance because they can manipulate events to their advantage. They feel significance because um, they have they have power over other people. But again, if you really think about that though, do you significance? How do you can be significant outward by achieving things. You can become significant outward by achieving things and by having people praise you. But how do you become significant inward where even the praises of other people don't matter anymore? Who knows? Right? So that's the third need, significance. And this is the need I hate the most, honestly. For me, people who have the need for significance and can't seem to keep it in line, I see them as children. And because again, the need for significance is only for people who have a need, you know, um, is only for people who have not grown up in some way or form. Okay, and you'll know why later on. Okay, the next need is connection or love, a strong feeling of closeness or union with someone or something. How many of you have ever felt love before? And I just don't mean romantic love. How many of you can remember um, memories about his or her parents or someone? You know, if you don't have your parents anymore, or if they did not raise you, someone in your life who has no obligation to love you but has made efforts to make sure that you receive love, right? How many of you have felt that? Like me in the comments below. Okay? And it's an amazing thing, right? Um, More than just hugging alone creates this satisfies this need, right? The oxytocin, the love hormones, um, and it's crazy. And it's not just receiving love. Actually, it's giving. I've learned in my in the in for the past 4 years where I've been coaching people, and yeah, Miss MJ, good that you feel that, right? For the past 4 to 5 years that I've been dealing with people, both in my personal business and in coaching, I've noticed that the love that causes pain the most is not external love. It's not love by someone else, right? It's not love that you receive, but love that you give that actually scare people away. Because when you give out love, you actually put yourself in a position of vulnerability. People can actually reject your approach, whether it's romantic, whether it's platonic, whether it's familial. Okay. How many of you have not received the love you need? You don't have to post to comment me, right? How many of you have not received the love you needed from a partner, from a parent, even after you've done everything just to appease them, right? So you also give this human need, not just receive. And it's a very interesting thing. Now, um, and it's the dynamic, right? I'm not sure if you've noticed this, but giving will give you the most fulfillment. And giving this human need will work for you the best the more you give. But again, it puts you in a position of vulnerability. For some people, what does that entail? Boom, it's uncertainty. Oh, how are people going to react to this? For some people, their significance all crumbles. Right? What if they're not really crumbles, but it's shaken? What what would they say? What will they reject me, etc., etc.? Okay, so it's a really shaky thing. It's amazing, and the world needs this, and the world needs this, but it also puts people in danger. So what to do next? How the heck are we gonna handle this? Well, oh, and let me go back here to significance. Okay, I may hate this the most, but this is also one of the most important, because if your need for significance is really low, okay, there is also a or is really high. There high or too high or too low. There is a self-esteem issue. In short, for some reason or form, you have a self-esteem issue. Okay, and it can only be given if you know how to give this the next need, which is connection or love, and receive. Okay, now the sixth one of my favorites, is growth, an expansion of capacity. You increase your capacity, capability, or understanding. Now I've for if you've heard this for the first time, I always say this: life, good things in life come to those who can receive it. The good things in life come to those who can receive it. So people have to increase their capacity to receive. Okay? People have to increase their capacity to receive before they can actually be given some gifts of life. For example, some people, the only reason why you're not getting that particular perfect relationship that you're looking for is because your capacity to receive is lower than your wants. The reason why you're not getting that 6 to 7 figure income that you're looking for is because your capacity to keep 6 to 7 figures per month has not been met yet. Okay. That's why there is a need for growth, the need to stretch yourself. And one of the reasons why I love this human need is because it actually opens up doors towards who you really are. And for a lot of people, based on your environment, based on upbringing, based on school, based on your work environment, people have and will try to tell you that you're only human, that you have limitations. But the six human needs, or the sixth need, which is growth, is a reminder that you are limitless. So long as you struggle, so long as you try to increase your capacity, good things will follow. Okay? So, the bigger your capacity, the more likely you are to attract good things into your life. However, again, there are um, certain pains you have to go through to increase your capacity, right? So that's something. And of course, I just wanna I just wanna put this out there. Generally, there are four ways for you to grow, four stages in your life for you to grow, right? There's your relationships, there's your physical health, there's your money, financial life or career, and there's your spirituality. Okay? So these are your growth areas that you might want to explore if you wanna if you wanna explore further on this human need. Okay? And now one of my favorites, contribution. This is the last human need, a sense of service and focus on helping, giving to and supporting others. Giving to and supporting others. Okay? Contribution is that you're in this stage in your life when you've have it all and you're bored as heck. That's a good and surefire sign that you need to start contributing. Oh, another thing, it's time for you to contribute if you're also dead broke. You have nothing. Everyone else in your life has run away from you. Your bank account is maybe zero. This is the best time as well to contribute. Okay, when you have too much and too little, that's the best time. Okay, for you to contribute. And the reason why is actually quite stunning. For a lot of people, this is what they don't understand. People think money is the result of and let me just use my flip chart. Okay, people think money is the result of them giving up their time. Okay, but that's not really true. Money is actually the result of the value that they give out. Okay, and unfortunately for most people, their value for their time is minimum wage. Okay, and there's more than one reason why it stays that way. Okay, because the value of their time is not um is the value of their time is minimum wage, right? So how the heck are they supposed to increase their value then, right? The way they increase their value is by upping their contribution. Okay, And I don't just mean contributing to their company. I also sometimes mean contributing to themselves. Okay, so there's a whole wide of spectrum for you to actually put your way into this. But here's the real talk. People who solve problems are the richest people in the world. People who solve problems are the richest people in the world. Okay, think of it this way: the only reason why um, there are billionaires, trillionaires, and millionaires is because they solve problems. That they solve problems that are valued at millions. Okay, so if you're not earning millions yet, seven figures, six figures, then that means the amount of challenge you put the amount that the challenge that you're putting yourself out there for is too small for you. Okay, it's too small for you. And I'm gonna leave this slide with this, right? You know, it's not about whether your dreams are big enough. It's whether your dreams are big enough for you. So I'll end it with that. Hopefully, if you guys got value, comment I got value in the chat, in the comments. I mean, and